With Tony Stark gone, it will be up to his ragtag team of heroes to pick up the pieces and soldier on. What'll happen next? Well, let's hop into the pages of Ultimates issue number 7 and find out together, shall we? So then, picking up more or less directly after the disastrous defeat at the hand of the Ultimate Hulk from the previous issue, Steve Rogers, Captain America, and Jim Hammond, the Human Torch, are walking the streets of New York looking to drown their sorrows and figure out where it all went wrong. This is a very amusing little back and forth here because Steve refuses to get with any of the modern technology. I don't need a damn map to get around New York. I was born here, damn it. I just need to get my bearings first, like every old dude, where Jim, on the other hand, being a machine himself, is actually very on board with modern technology. Hell, after getting rebuilt in the modern era, the Human Torch basically is modern technology, and truth be told, I did not recognize him when he's not flamed on in his civilian form. Eventually, the two end up finding Cap's favorite bar, a place that's been here since the 1800s, and a place that him and Bucky used to sneak into back in the day when they were still in high school. In fact, this is the bar where Steve punched his first Nazi. Well, actually, the Nazis mostly punched him while they were trying to recruit people for the American Nazi Party. It's a long story and one that Steve holds very near and dear. Now, in a nice bit of connective tissue with all the other Ultimate titles, today just so happens to be the 1-year anniversary of the Stark-Stain Tower terrorist attack. In fact, we already saw that over in the pages of Ultimate Spider-Man. Father Matt Murdock is leading the eulogy, and things don't look good. The Ultimates are still being blamed for everything bad that's gone wrong. Since the Maker's being trapped in Latveria, it looks like none of that is going to change anytime soon, and because Tony is now officially off the table, it looks like Captain America and the Human Torch are going to have to rise to the occasion and help train these new young heroes, not only to fight crime, but to fight a full-scale war. But yeah, I mean, Steve Rogers is literally a super soldier, and Jim Hammond is literally a super advanced fire robot. What about the other members of the team who are just regular people like Hank and Janet? Well, believe it or not, Ant-Man and the Wasp are actually at the special candlelight vigil for all the lives lost at Stark-Stain Tower, which they can do because, well, they basically just became heroes a while ago. Meaning they're not famous enough for anyone to actually know their faces yet. Hank is really conflicted about all of this. He wanted to be a hero, wanted a second chance, wanted to do things differently this time. But now people are dead, and it's really starting to take a toll on him and his wife, Janet especially, who has stopped sleeping and who doesn't want to actually deal with any of this, just kind of brush it off. Still, while their lives are becoming incredibly complicated, their marriage is as strong as ever. In fact, they take this opportunity to mourn together as a couple, and it's honestly very, very sweet. Though really, Wasp will inevitably need to deal with the trauma of getting eaten and then exploding her way out of a guy's stomach. That's gonna mess with you no matter how tough you are. Now, what's the rest of the team doing during this very trying time, you might be asking? Well, after that, we check on in with Hawkeye, who's gone back to doing basically what they know best, attacking Roxxon. In this case, Hawkeye blows up a shipment of weapons that were apparently meant for the upper and lower kingdoms. The security chief tries to calm Hawkeye down, saying, "This isn't your problem, these are meant for wars outside of us." Only, wouldn't you know it, Hawkeye's only been a hero for a little bit right now, and they have already come to the realization that all of these different wars, all of these evil machinations set up by the Maker and his cabal, they're all connected and they all need to be taken down. Geez, you could really use a Black Panther on your team or something right about now. He could really help you fight all these different secret wars you got going on. Even America Chavez is keeping herself busy right now. She still might be an amnesiac and not actually remember what universe she was from originally, but she's trying to make the most of it here in this new one. We see America actually get one hell of a reception over in Latin America, where she saves a crowd of protesters from a bunch of roided up riot cops looking to crack their heads wide open. In fact, in this one little superpowered outing, America probably does more for the Ultimates' image than they've done for themselves in a long time now, setting them up as a real actual revolutionary force, willing to stand up to the Maker-imposed corruption of this world. Then, of course, we have our two Asgardians, Thor and Sif. They actually take this opportunity to go back to Asgard and check on in with everything that's going on there. Asgard is still in the middle of something of a civil war right now. Loki still sits on the throne, and the two wonder if they should maybe recruit other heroes from across the Yggdrasil to deal with this whole Maker problem, especially now that they're down an Iron Man. Honestly, this all kind of feels like a backdoor pilot for a new Ultimate Thor book, which, hey, you know what, I'd read it. Now, the last two members of this Ultimate team who we haven't had a chance to check on in with yet are probably the two most odd men and women out as it stands right now. Of course, I'm talking about the new She-Hulk and and Dr. Doom Reed Richards. After getting their asses royally handed to them by Banner in the last issue, She-Hulk naturally wants to go back home to Gamma Island and check in on all of her people. Of course, Doom says that's a terrible idea. Banner will be watching the island now if he's not already. And if She-Hulk ends up getting herself grabbed, it's only a matter of time before Banner is able to torture her into revealing the location of the other members of the Ultimates, killing this revolution in its crib. Doom might not be a people person, but he's not a total monster. In fact, he says that if the Hulk is indeed spying on She-Hulk's island, then there's a good chance he can hack those security feeds so that she can keep an eye on them all the same. Then, of course, there's still the burning matter as it regards to the fate of Tony Stark, Iron Lad. Yeah, about that. No one actually used the word dead when talking about him in this issue. They just said he was gone and off the table, and it's right here at the end of the book do we truly understand what that means. You see, Tony is alive. Well, technically, in every legal sense of the word, he's just in a terrible vegetative state right now, clinging to life thanks to the use of machines. Maybe he'll come back at some point, but that sure doesn't seem to be anytime soon, and because the clock is literally ticking down for the Ultimates to defeat the Maker and save their world, it looks like they're going to have to forge on without him. As horribly difficult as that's going to be as the comic comes to a close, and so that was the Ultimates issue number 7, everybody, and once again, I really enjoy what this series is laying down. This issue especially, which actually takes the opportunity to take things slow, to breathe, to decompress, especially after such a big action-packed issue as we had in the previous installment, and instead just decide to buckle down and tell some much smaller character stories. The Ultimates may have lost against the Hulk, they may have lost big, but they're not giving up, not even when they've lost basically their guiding light in the form of Tony Stark, the guy whose family was basically the inciting incident for all of this, the man who brought them all together, and the man they're going to learn to do all of this superhero stuff without now. In fact, you know what, even calling the Ultimate superheroes is something that they themselves are kind of struggling with here in this issue. They're still considered terrorists, outsiders, enemies of the state. They're trying to fight the good fight and trying to liberate this world, but they're maybe forgetting about some of the smaller stuff along the way, except for maybe America herself, who ends up probably doing the most to actually change people's hearts and minds. I wonder if that's because she's not actually from this universe, and because of that, even in her amnesiac state, she's just built different. As far as Tony goes, I think we're definitely going to end up seeing him up and running around again at some point. I mean, it's just kind of inevitable, especially with all the stuff they pulled with Kang. In the prelude, I will say though, taking him off the table like this and putting him in a coma is actually pretty genius and an actually kind of compelling way that this series is dealing with death, as opposed to how the old Ultimate series dealt with it. I also loved all the little bits of connective tissue tying this series to all the other Ultimate books going on right now. It just feels super rewarding reading this one, which is a compliment I don't give a lot of books. Overall, I would give this one another very positive 8 out of 10. Hey there everyone, it's your pal Cape Joel again, and if you're seeing my face right now, that means you watched to the end of the video, and I'll always be grateful for that. Retention helps in this crazy YouTube game, and so does becoming a patron. If you head on down to the description, you can find a link to my Patreon page. Recently just redid all the tiers, a lot of cool stuff offering up there, exclusive commentaries, exclusive polls, behind the scenes concept art for Capes and Quest, that's the brand new D&D show I've started soon. Never been a better time to become a patron. You can become a patron for as little as $1 a month and help the channel grow and, you know, help me continue to deliver content like what you just saw. So I want to thank you all, and I will see you again next time. Bye-bye.